Hey guys, this is Jetro 2002, and thanks for joining me for a special edition of Planet Coaster Challenge Mode. Alright, we are back at my park, Divergence Point, where we diverge into actually some points and some tips. This is a special edition episode to let you know what is going on and how I finally got my park into the green or blue or white or whatever color it is, but it isn't red. Alright, there's a few things I did do, and I spent almost 2 hours with the game running at full speed most of the time, tweaking and editing and trying to get things right. Alright, so in the last episode, I was pretty much trying to figure out how to get my park profitable, and it looks like there was a bunch of details. So we're going to go to tip number 1, checking your notifications. Okay, this up here is the biggest deal. Completely. So we're going to go one by one. We're going to take a look at these notifications over here. We have the hammer swing has broken down. And yes, there's a few details that actually do make a huge difference with this. You have to make sure that your maintenance is actually accomplished. I actually don't even know exactly how to say it, but you got to make sure that there's actually an inspection going on. Oh my god. Okay, that's pretty loud. At least in my ears. So I actually have been changing my inspection schedule to about 10 minutes. So that's every 10 minutes. I have every ride inspected every 10 minutes. Every single ride. I mean, I originally had it at the default 30 minutes, but then I changed it to 10 minutes. And that actually makes a difference because then the mechanics can actually inspect it and find problems quicker, and then they can fix it on site while they're there. However, these things always keep breaking down, and when you do that, that also means that, one, your work rosters have to be done properly, and you have to make sure that you actually have mechanics going at every single ride, inspecting them and fixing them. And when you do it every 10 minutes, it means that there's got to be at least more than a few mechanics. So, yes, that's one tip over here. We're going to go to the park management for a second. We're going to take a look at this. We are going to go to the staff. Alright, you're going to notice if I go to the mechanics section that I have more than just 3 now. So I actually added an extra 3 mechanics right here, and I have been systematically training them. So once I got my park profitable, I actually spent the money to train them and actually give them a pay raise. And you got to make sure you do this properly, and you got to make sure that you can actually pay for it. So that brings me to tip number 2. Have enough workers. You have to have enough workers. As you can tell, I have a bunch of janitors, a bunch of mechanics, and a bunch of security guards. And the security guards make a huge difference when it comes to the vandals and the pickpockets around in the park. And all of which affects another thing I would actually consider: the park rating. The park rating also affects the guest count and how many guests are coming in. Once I started changing how many guards I had, I actually added more security guards, I added more mechanics, I added a couple more janitors because there were spots that were, well, filthy, like the entrance over here. In fact, I got rid of those 2 bids for the moment, and since there isn't any actual ride or shop nearby, I actually was unable to pretty much get this into a work roster, which means that this entrance over here, all the way long over here, it has no building, it has no purpose. So I have only the free roaming janitor and a free roaming security guard also. Or not, actually. Apparently I have a main entrance one. Okay, so never mind. He's actually walking around. So you actually have to have enough workers. And because you have to have enough workers, you got to make sure you're actually going to be able to pay for them. And that brings me to another tip: the ticket prices. Okay, so we're going to go to the entrance right here. And as you can see, right here, we are actually in the green. That's good. Now, I actually systematically, slowly changed the price, and I got to $17 per ticket and $11 per family, per child, pretty much. And I did that very slowly. Now, I didn't change the child ticket too much because we only have 3 family rides. Well, maybe 4 if you want to count the log flume. So I didn't want to do too much with that. And you also have to figure out the ticket prices for each one of these rides, because sometimes there's actually not enough people who want to ride it. Oh, okay, so, you know, that's kind of loud in my ear. I hope that's not loud for y'all. And as you can tell, now the Rocktopus actually has a decent line. We actually have some people beginning to do the Hyperspin, which I might end up replacing it with another ride later on in the future. As for now, it's kind of doing okay. You can tell I have it set as 2, so $2 for that. I have the Rocktopus set as $3. I have the Whirly Rig set as 4. And then we're going to go to this side. This is also an unpopular ride also, which used to have almost nobody. At least we have some people going in there. I changed it to 3. And the Hammer Swing over here, I have as 4. Now, I was slowly changing the ticket prices depending on traffic and depending on what people were thinking. So I was actually clicking people's thoughts, people who are leaving the rides, people who are leaving the park, people who entering the park, entering the rides, or somehow coming over here and going like this right here. They left, right? So wow, this place. I don't want to buy a souvenir right now. So apparently they're just talking about souvenirs right now and just a memento. Okay, now that I got the ride situated, and actually, you know what? I got to tell you what I actually did with the Alpinion. I actually eventually got it to 15. Now, while I was actually speeding it up, and because it was 2 hours of pretty much playing this behind the scenes, behind y'all, I'm sorry about that. It was just a lot of trial and error trying to get this right. I eventually got it to $15, and mostly because, well, I actually got my ride to become classic. So it actually increases a prestige boost of 110%, and that makes a big difference because now it's at least 5 stars. So that's 100% Q rating and a reputation plus 10%, and that makes people want to ride it. And that's going to bring me to another thing, reputation and age of the rides. There's a lot of little tips in here. I hope you guys are actually listening to this because this is the main reason why I was pretty much failing, because there were so many little details I did not think about, and I had to go one by one on each thing, keep going, and then I went back and forth to figure out what was going on each ride. And it's just back and forth at that point, trying to figure it all out. Now, this ride is 4 years until Classic, and currently it is becoming old. It is literally aging, so it is almost old, which means that with, let's see, this ride becomes old in 1 month. Old rides tend not to be very popular with 80% of their normal prestige. Yes, actually, your prestige will drop as they're aging, and once they get old, which means that people won't be paying the price of the full ticket price they won't run to. Right now, I don't have that problem with the Ridiculous Creek. And I actually didn't even really have too much of a problem with the Alpinion because these 2 rides right here, my roller coaster and my log flume ride, were the most popular rides completely and during the fact that they were aging. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Ridiculous Creek as to what the traffic is if people actually start not riding it, which I kind of doubt, until it becomes classic, because once it becomes classic, I'm not going to rebrand it. If you, I can actually click on it, and I'm going to show you this. Where is it? Let's go back to the Prestige, right? You can actually rebrand it, and the only reason why I'm not rebranding it is because 1, it costs too much, and 2, these rides, both the Ridiculous Creek and the Alpinion over here, did not need a rebranding. Did not at all. In fact, I haven't even bothered. I probably should have rebranded one of these, but I'm figuring it wasn't worth it because I know if you go to the park management, we were actually, if we go to the park attractions and shops, right, and then go to attractions, right, you can see that some of the other rides, the thrill rides and stuff like that, and the other family ones are actually not making any money, and I made a slight ticket price difference at the entrance. So I increased the ticket price at the entrance in order to cover these costs. And then I slowly increased the ticket prices of the major rides that were actually making money. So I took in consideration that, do you see this whole line right here? I could actually probably increase the ticket price of this right now. That's, I should be calling this the ridiculous roller coaster at this point because of this ridiculous line. But I am not. I'm keeping it at 15 at the moment. I could probably increase it, but I want people to have money in their pocket. So say the queue is a little full, they can go to any of the other rides, which are pretty much cheap. Like this ride over here, every time I saw a queue actually backing up all the way to the end, like the Wild Blue actually had a line all the way up to here, to the point that it was so full that people were just turning away. And so I increased it eventually to $6, and pretty much what I was looking at was my potential income and monthly running costs. So as long as my income was more than the running costs, completely fine. Some of these other rides over here couldn't do that at all. So I kind of made a what would you call it? I don't even know the word. I'm trying to be professional. I can't. It's so hard. I mean, it is a game, but I pretty much increased ticket prices of the front and some of the other rides, like the Alpinian and the Ridiculous Creek, in order to make a profit to balance out the fact that I was losing money on the other things. All right, and I think I'm going to tell you one last tip before I end this small little special edition episode. And one other one was the shops. So if we're going to go to park management and we're going to go to the shops, this made a huge difference. As you can see, I have tons of shops. Well, not as many as before, but half of them are actually closed. The ones that are closed are not making that much money. Now, I have the Hats Fantastic, and I did lower the prices of some of the goods, and same thing with Just Mementos, so I can get some extra customers. Now, it's looking like Just a Memento is not a great... it's actually right here at the front. It's not a great spot. Neither is Hats Fantastic. These are terrible spots because I only have one ride over here and not much traffic. So I closed down everything that wasn't making profit, and I was actually paying attention to going to the notifications. Okay, so we got 2 rides broken down right now. Mechanics should be out there getting that fixed. In fact, actually, they were fixed. Never mind. So we're going to go to staff. There's no staff complaints, but I was making sure my staff were happy, and I'm going to have to go back and actually change that again. Whether it's training them actually increases their happiness and giving them a pay raise. So we can go back into that and check that. In fact, I'm going to do that right now just to get you a little idea of what's going on. See, it looks like this security guard is beginning not to be so happy. It's still pretty good right now, but that means it's dropping since it's orange. And I was actually slowly increasing the trading levels to increase their happiness because they were all miserable. Well, I don't blame them. There were so many thefts going on and they couldn't keep up with it. That's why there's so many of them. And giving them a pay raise slowly, not to pretty much get myself back into debt again. So that actually worked. So once I had my park profitable, and I started giving them trading, and then the minute I actually started giving them a pay raise, and this goes for all of my other employees, such like the mechanics, which apparently are not so happy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to increase it to $330 each, and see if that actually makes a big difference. In fact, I'm thinking we could actually do a trading of every single one of them, because my mechanics are important as hell. So so I wasted about 2,000, but it's not wasting because they need to be trained. So we got the vendors. I was trying to make sure the vendors were happy, and some of them, like, let's see, 150. Who is he from? Wait a second. I don't know. I think he's the hot dog squad. I think. It doesn't say it like that. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Figure you out. Vendor. I should see if another park is hiring. I should really quit my job. Yes, you probably should. I'm not sure. I'm going to give you a pay raise. Maybe you'll be a little bit happier. And a trading. There we go. Okay. Now, every time I do that, I actually have to make sure that I have my rides and shops profitable enough to cover the costs of the staff. And staff costs are a big deal here. Looks like my janitors are pretty happy right now. We're going to give this one a pay raise and this and some trading. And we're going to increase that to 150 to make sure they're happy forever. So we're going to go back to the finances. And sometimes when those rides break down, you actually lose all the money that you have because you got to give everybody a refund who is in the line, which can cost a lot. So you got to make sure you actually have a pretty good amount of money stocked up. So you must have some cash just in case, so you can actually give out refunds to the rides when they break down. And that's why the mechanics are so important in trading them. All right, and then we're going to go to, since we got the staff issues kind of situated for now, we're going to go to shops and facilities in the notifications. This is very important. Now, right here, this hot dog squad is saying that there are too many guests using the hot dog squad. And I was following this, and this is the reason why I started opening some of these shops back up. I believe there's actually another hot dog squad somewhere around here. Unless it closed down. I believe this was a hot dog squad. Somewhere here. Oh, shoot. I can't get in there. All right. Hot dog squad. You're open. Well, wait a second. Where are you? Wait. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Okay, the hot dog squad is on that side. Okay, so good. And guests think the ATM of Wonder is too expensive. Okay, so you know what? We're actually going to put I guess $1. We're gonna change that to $1.50 and see what people think of that. This is the biggest thing when it comes to the shops and the facilities, so we can make sure it is pretty loud. Wow. I actually don't know if it's loud for y'all, but it is loud for me. I keep hearing all these sounds. And then we're going to go to guests. This is another important part. I mean, everything is really important here. Many guests are thirsty. And I am guessing that that probably has to do with back here. Because this place is always full. Very full. We have a lot of traffic going this way. So let's go this way for a second. And let's check some things over here. We have a hot dog squad over there. We have a Cosmic Cow over there that's making money. We have a Cosmic Cow. Oh, that's a hot dog squad. And maybe we can actually open up this Cosmic Cow. Okay, so we're going to try opening up this Cosmic Cow ice cream and see how that does. Because, let's see, we have one there. And this one, what is that? That is a Chief Beef. Okay, so we're not going to open that one yet. What I'm going to do is actually close down this just a memento. Because we're not even, look at that, 16. We're not making any income. And just a memento is in a bad spot. Very bad. How's the hat's fantastic on this side? We're making some income. That's not as bad. We're going to just see how that does because we're going to start decorating and putting some extra rides in there soon. This is why you got to really watch. And I think a ride, the Alpinia broke down. See, okay, so we're going to see an example of this. Watch as everybody leaves and everybody gets their refund back. Watch this total. As you can tell, we're still making a profit. Slowly, but you can see it's kind of slowly draining at the same time. See, now we're about at 2,900, 2,800. All those people in this ride are going to get a refund until this is fixed. So we are going to click this. We are going to click the maintenance. We're going to request an inspection, an emergency inspection, to at least get the mechanic to run over there as quickly as possible to pretty much not meander around and dilly-daddle. So, all right. All right, this is just the park management. This will tell you your end of month summary and your park rating change. That's a big thing. In fact, I actually had this at about 800 or 900, and my guest count was about 1,600 folks. You can tell we actually have a decent amount of traffic in the park now, which is good, which is very good. This was not possible at all until I started making the changes. And then we have a security tab. This is going to tell you every single one of the crimes. Thief was caught, thief was caught, thief was caught. Okay. So the ones that I've caught apparently have already been kicked out, so we don't have to worry about that. And then we have sequences, and I'm not quite sure what that is yet, but I'm going to figure it out. And people are thinking this queue is long. As you can tell, it is. It's very long. Indeed. All right. Well, actually, we're going to increase that to 625. Just because I know that this one is making money, so I can get away with a small price increase to make up for the fact of everything out. Now, you can see my total and my profit is now at 1,300. We just went from 8,000. Well, actually, I think we went from like 4,000 or 5,000 to 8,000 to back to 1,400. This will get better. If I speed this up, it'll open up. All right, so my mechanic, Nicholas, he's running off, and he's doing his thing. He's running. Damn, everybody's running. Oh, yeah. I can't catch him on this speed. All right, well, I'm going to let Nicholas do what he wants. But watch this. Ride reopens, and all of a sudden, look at that. Money just flowing right in. Yes, that's exactly why you need a reserve of resources. 2 R's, whatever. That's pretty much everything I've been doing. There has been nothing else changed except for prices, increased staff, and so many other little things that I just am going to have to just get used to doing. In fact, every time that I'm going to have something done, it's going to have to make sure that there's going to be enough traffic where the shops are at, making sure that the rides are being ridden and that people actually want to ride it, and if it's affordable, and if I can actually cover the cost. And cover the cost of the extra guests dropping trash all over the place too, and rides breaking down. Everything you add increases the budget of maintenance. And so staff is a big thing. Alright, look at that. Okay, the Ridiculous Creek is getting very old. Consider either rebranding it or waiting for it to become classic. In fact, we're going to go over here, and we're going to see how it's doing. And it looks like it's doing pretty fine over here. We're going to keep it at 15. We're not going to change the ticket price at all. We're not going to increase it. We're not going to drop it. Because it's actually full and people are still riding it, we're not going to worry about it. Now, in the next episode, we're actually going to be working on a, what should I say, a food shop. So I'm going to have a couple food shops over here. I'm most likely going to be placing them probably about here. Or I think I might actually place a food shop here. Maybe something for them to eat. And after that is going to be, I'm thinking about having a log flume over here. Just a simple, quick log flume drop that you see in most of the theme parks. Something fun. And eventually we're going to get into a very nice, complicated, maybe even more complicated and design-wise from over here. We are going to make a river rapids using the rafts, and those are going to be in Coaster, and they're going to be in, well, somewhere. Jesus Lord. Oh my God. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's in track rides. It's been that long. Water rides. There we go. White water ride. Oh, you're damn right. This is a blueprint, though. Yes. Yeah, now I'm going to be making something way better than that. Well, I hope this helped you all out. I hope I gave you guys enough tips to get your park profitable. It makes a big difference when you're playing challenge mode. Medium challenge mode, remember, that's what I'm playing. So it makes a huge difference on what you can research and how much money you can make and how many times the rides break down. So it gets a little bit harder. Thank God I'm not on hard mode, because otherwise this park would be a little bit fancier if I was playing creative, but that's not where the fun's at. The fun was trying to get this park back to its state when I originally opened it up. It's not the easiest thing at all, and we have so much going on. It's unbelievable. Like, look at all these steps and all this stuff. We're gonna fix that in the next couple episodes. There's a lot of little details, and I'm playing medium challenge mode, so it makes a big difference. All right, if you have anything that you'd like to share or like to judge, please let me know below. Love it. I would greatly appreciate it. If you did actually enjoy this quick episode, please hit that like button and always subscribe if you want to see some more. I will be back, and I hope to see y'all there. Thanks for watching. Peace.